Dear engineers, here are the construction contract contents. When drafting a construction contract, it's essential to include specific components to ensure clarity and protect the interests of all parties involved. Here's a breakdown of the key contents typically found in a construction contract.
Owner's introduction. Parties involved. Names and addresses of the owner and contractor, considering the email address for each party. Project description. A brief overview of the project, location, type of construction. 2. Scope of work. Detailed description. Comprehensive outline of the work to be performed. Plans and specifications. Reference to any drawings, blueprints or technical specifications. 3. Contract price. Total cost. Breakdown of the contract amount and payment schedule. Change orders. Procedures for handling changes in scope or pricing. 4. Schedule. Timeline. Start date, milestones, and completion date. Delays. Clauses addressing delays and extensions. 5. Payment terms. Payment schedule. Details on progress payments, retainage, and final payment. Payment methods. Accepted methods of payment. 6. Responsibilities of the parties. Contractors' obligations, duties, including quality of work and compliance with laws. Owners' obligations. Responsibilities, such as providing access and timely payments. 7. Permits and regulations. Permitting. Responsibility for obtaining necessary permits and licenses. Compliance. Adherence to local building codes and regulations. 8. Insurance and bonds. Liability insurance. Requirements for contractor insurance coverage. Performance bond. If applicable, details about performance bonds. 9. Warranties. Quality assurance. Warranty on workmanship and materials. Duration of warranties. Time period for which warranties are valid. 10. Dispute resolution. Methods. Procedures for resolving disputes, mediation, arbitration. Jurisdiction. Legal jurisdiction governing the contract. 11. Termination clause. Conditions for termination. Rights to terminate the contract by either party. Attention by either party, not the owner only. Consequences of termination. Obligations and rights upon termination. 12. Miscellaneous provisions. Governing law. State law that governs the contract. Amendments. Procedures for modifying the contract. Notices. Requirements for formal communications between parties. Dear engineers, in conclusion, given that we are in the Middle East, we have a shortage of construction contracts. This is a fact, contrary to the law, and the deficiency lies in the fact that contracts should be equitable. Just as penalties are imposed on the contractor, they should also be imposed on the owner. For example, and this is not an exhaustive list, delays in payments and handing over of the entire works or the project, and poor coordination are not addressed in Middle Eastern contracts, making them contracts of adhesion. Administrative bodies must amend contracts to ensure equal contractual rights and obligations for all parties involved. Many projects falter due to the owner's dominance over the contractor, stemming from an initial imbalance in the contract between the two parties. The fairer the contract is between its parties, the better the chances of the project's success, and this necessarily requires giving time and attention to preparing the project documents with greater accuracy. The accuracy of contract document preparation necessitates the application of value engineering during the preliminary design phase to ensure that designers have standards for producing designs that precisely define the structure's function. Value engineering is then reapplied during the detailed design development phase to guarantee that project components accurately fulfill their functions. While the costs of applying value engineering may be high, they are incomparable to its results, which ensure that both the project and its components accurately fulfill their functions. Furthermore, the DAB, Directed Arbitration Entity System, a system of engineering arbitration, should be implemented during project execution to expedite the resolution of technical and contractual disputes regarding contract interpretation, in accordance with FIDIC 99. While this system may not be suitable for administrative or governmental bodies, a state-represented arbitration entity can be established to resolve disputes in projects where the government is a party. In both cases, the arbitration entity's decisions are binding on both parties. This DAB, whether private or governmental, significantly contributes to faster project completion and reduces the likelihood of disputes reaching the courts, which can result in losses for both parties. Neither the contractor achieves his target profit, nor does the owner get the aims of his project. Therefore, it is worthwhile to introduce these mechanisms into construction contracts, as their benefits far outweigh their costs. Before concluding this discussion on construction contracts, we would like to emphasize that any contract lacking penalties for the owner related to delayed payments, refusal to accept completed work, or poor coordination is illegal. For example, the civil codes of most Arab countries contain provisions obligating the employer to pay IPCs and accept completed work. Furthermore, any assignment of additional work must be in writing. Failure to reflect these provisions in contracts is illegal and often results in contracts that contain elements of adhesion, making them relatively easy to invalidate.
This topic is important for each project manager to be studied and considered.